How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and welcome to another Path of Exile build guide. This is going to be my Patreon Magma Orb Elementalist that we've been working on over the past little while. It has some shortcomings, some upsides to it. It's been a very interesting journey, and I want to kind of summarize the build, as I do with most builds normally. There has been a few struggles with this character, and, you know, I mean, I've learned a lot when it comes to doing witches and that sort of stuff. This was my first real foray into making a witch build. I made a shadow beforehand, and I found that, for the most part, this side of the skill tree, here I'll show you on Path of Building actually, this side of the skill tree has a lot of problems getting like significant amounts of life, which is, I don't know, probably why most people on this side go energy shield, I guess, right? But I need to make a character to figure out energy shield soon. But let me show you a little bit of gameplay of the build. Let me show you how it pretty much melts things. It does have some problems in the, you know, squish department, but this is a tier 7 geode. And other than getting, you know, one shot by the odd pack every now and then, I've dealt with a lot of situations to make things a little bit better. It is also a Devourer map, which doesn't help my case, but that's how it goes sometimes. It melts through pretty much anything in its way. When it gets to bosses, doesn't really have much problems. Mana problems, a little bit, but that is what my Vault Clarity is for. Basically, I put that up and I can just spam out balls over and over. Shotgun my balls, you guys know how it is. But it does require a little bit of attention to be paid, but other than that, can deal with pretty much anything it throws, or the game likes to throw its way. Can kill Syndicate members relatively quickly, so long as it doesn't fucking die. Now, that is a problem that I need to work on tackling, and is just going to require a lot of experience and playtime on the class. I still have a lot of shortcomings when it comes to certain builds, but that is how it be sometimes. I'm not going to go hiding information or saying that, you know, these are the best builds on the planet. But if you do want to play Magma Orb or anything kind of around this style of thing, hopefully I can impart some wisdom onto you. Now, I think that'll do for the gameplay portion of things. Let me just log in and out real quick. I forgot to grab portal scrolls. That's how it be. But it's very interesting. I've found that Magma Orb can get some pretty insane numbers without really having to try too much. It's an odd situation. I also found that, especially on playing Witch and stuff, you really don't have access to much life. Now, this character is currently, I believe, 73, so I would have 12 more points that I would put in, written in blood here, and I would most likely pass down and get melding, because there's really not much in the way of life other than going up for Blood Drinker, which I would probably do as well. Like, my next 12 levels would all be HP. I would get there, I would get here, and I would get here. And I think I'd be one short because 4, 4, and 4. So yeah, I would be 1 point short, which would kind of suck. But that's how it goes. I think we went Alira for the Bandit because, you know, I like to have those resists, especially in solo self-found. It makes gearing that much easier. But you could go 2 passives as well, or alternatively I could knock one out of here somewhere, maybe do a little bit of skill tree pathing. But the basic kind of summary of the build was we are messing with Magma Orb, and as a result we want to get 2 jewel sockets in very specific places. We have one for the inevitability up here, because we need at least 40 int in radius so that we can throw an extra projectile. You saw that my Magma Orb throws out 3 projectiles. I also have it spell echoed. Throw it so it throws another 3. It is quite wonderful and does a lot of damage. It's pretty insane, honestly. But you get the extra projectiles from having the 2 gems. So if you're playing in solo self-found, maybe make this as a second character. That's what I did. I did my first character, took the Magma Orb gem in Act 5, did my second character as this character, and took that gem in Act 5 as well. And we ended up here. Now to start off, I'm going to cover the skill tree first, then I'm going to cover some gems and that sort of stuff, and then go into prophecies, or what is it? Is it Pantheons? Pantheons. Afterwards, and talk about Ascendancies and that sort of stuff. So start off, we go out the spell damage route. You could maybe go at Energy Shield. I haven't messed with going Energy Shield yet. I need to make an ES character soon, because I want to kind of go that route instead, because life on this side of the skill tree is not a good thing to do in my recommendation. So if you know how to do Energy Shield stuff and you're looking to play Witch, trust me, do it. But we go up, we get Arcanist's Dominion, and then we get the life here. Trust me, you're going to need that. And then we go over to the left, go down and get the Jewel Socket. We go up through Firewalker, get fire damage and fire res, more fire damage, up through Ellie, come in and get the top of the AoE cluster here, which is spectacular. Come up, get the Inevitability Jewel, and then we come up through Cruel Preparation, get this life and resists, and then come up and get the entire fire cluster. I got this very early on, probably in like the first 25 levels or so. I just went out up this way and rushed up here, got this, and then got this next, if you're looking for like a leveling style of skill tree. So I got this next so I could put the jewel in, and then, you know, get as much fire damage as possible. I don't remember exactly what I leveled. I think I did level Magma Orb, and I just used Volley until I got access to my jewels. And then from there, I went over to the left, and I went down, I got this one, and then I went up, got the Explosive Impact over here for AoE and fire damage. Came up, got more damage from Holy Fire, went back down and through, get AoE, come in, get life, get Retribution for 14% increased damage and cast speed, and then get Light of Divinity for spell damage and for cast speed as well. Now over here, I don't think there's much else that's really worth my time. I was considering going for this cluster, didn't really end up going for it in the end, didn't really equal out to enough damage. So that's how it goes. I was considering grabbing Quick Recovery as well. This is another one that I would probably take. Maybe instead of going for this one down here, I would grab this life, then I would grab this life, and that was my last bit of points. I would grab this with life on all my pieces of gear. Should hopefully put me around 3.5-ish, 3.5, 4K, hopefully. And that would probably put me around a point where I'm content and a little bit safer when I'm doing maps. If I'm under like 3K, I'm a little bit sketched out, but with Witch, it's how it is sometimes. And then we pass to the right. The biggest reason I came over here was there's damage here, but there is mana on kill, which solves basically all of your mana problems until you reach a boss. When you get to a boss, that's what the Vault Clarity is for, to deal with that sort of situation. I haven't really spent enough time fully gearing out the character to deal with mana problems the correct way, so just taking Soul Siphon here on the Shadow side has fixed that situation. You can also take Blood Siphon for, you know, max life, because we desperately need that, and life gain on kill, which is wonderful. Trickery gives you flat damage, and then Ellie Focus gives you flat damage as well. Now, this is something that's going to be very highly debated. I found this when I was doing Ranger, and I found that it worked very, very well, giving me 90% projectile dodge, and not having to worry about anything because I'm running a phasing flask as well. This is something that I'm trying. I don't really know if it's the best. I was messing around with Mind Over Matter before, which is a lot easier and a lot more achievable option that I would recommend. I would also recommend getting Ellie Overload. I, for some reason, missed grabbing that. That's an accident on my part. But I was messing around with Mind Over Matter, but the problem that I found was that if I take a Mind Over Matter hit, or like a giant hit, all of a sudden I'm out of mana, I can't cast, I can't kill things, we die because I can't regenerate my mana. So, I mean, I don't know. I still need to mess with this a little bit, but Mind Over Matter could be a good option as well. But personally, I found that I was dying to porcupines and that sort of stuff. At least getting one-shotted by porcupines over and over. So I decided to take this route. Now, I know this isn't recommended, but it solved the problem for me, and it kind of worked. More life, maybe get extra mana, try Mind Over Matter. There's a lot of different routes to take this. For a first, like, foray into Witch builds, I just wanted to experiment and see what worked. And we came up with something on the other end. I don't know how really good it is, but I feel like I accomplished the fact of making Magma Orb do its job. It definitely hits like a truck. That's for damn sure. Okay, now, going into items. Now, my items, I crafted like a really good wand. I crafted a rather decent wand here. Spell damage, spell damage, spell damage because it hit hybrid, and then burning. If I could cut that accuracy, or that mana, actually the mana could stay. If I cut that accuracy and got fire damage, this would be pretty much God roll, but we're not that lucky. That's how it goes sometimes, but a very good spell damage wand nonetheless. The links in here are Arcane Surge, Faster Casting, Flame Dash. Now, keep this Arcane Surge very low, because you want it to be, when you use the spell, you want to get an Arcane Surge up every time. It's going to give you mana regeneration, as well as it's going to give you more spell damage, and some cast speed. So long as you're flame dashing around every now and then, make sure you have this always attack without moving box checked. Whenever you're flame dashing, you're going to get bonus damage on your Magma Orbs, and you're going to get even faster cast speed. It gets pretty good. It gets pretty good, but you see why it burns through mana so quickly, right? Is the really fast cast speed means you just churn through a mana bar. It's pretty funny. But over to my second wand, we have a not as good wand, but still okay. We have spell damage, crafted spell damage, burning, and fire. This could be a lot better. This wand is kind of shitty, but you make do with what you get in solo self-found when you don't have as much currency to craft with as you would like. So for what I would go for, it's kind of like I said here. Spell damage is implicit, spell damage, burning, fire, spell damage, craft, if you're really rich. Anyways, going for something insane like that would be wonderful for both slots. Sadly, only one was great. Words are hard when you say them fast. Now, the rest of my gear is kind of just cobbled together for life, honestly. Like, my necklace has max life and strength, because, funnily enough, this character was 1 strength off of being able to put a Mortal Call on and stuff, so that gave me a good laugh. Made me very sad, actually, but... So I use that strength craft to cover that. Otherwise, I would get more life here, or even fire damage, potentially, if I wanted to go very greedy. My rings are 2 stones for resists, with life on them as well. The craft, I was trying to mess around with fixing the mana problem a little bit. The crafts didn't really do that. But, you know, messing around with that sort of stuff. Other one is high dexterity, res, and max life as well. So basically just, you know, standard resist stat sticks. Chest piece is a 5-link with max life and resists. Making sure I keep the resists capped. You guys know how it is. And the helmet, I didn't actually come across, or even, like, I tried to craft 4 or 5 helmets, and I didn't find anything that gave me good enough resists, or, like, good enough stat lines. Like, even when I regaled something, I crafted it with transmutes, alts, that sort of stuff, and what I had at the time. And then I regaled it, and it just hit trash every single time. So, I'm still using a gold rim. If you can get something really good here, life, resists, that sort of stuff, then, you know, obviously go for it. Didn't have anything good drop either. I could maybe pull the Abyssius off my Ranger, but otherwise, it's just kind of a filler piece, really. The setup in here, I have increased duration support with Clarity, the Vol Clarity, so it lasts even longer. And then in my chest piece, I have my Magma Orb with faster casting, Spell Echo, Controlled Destruction, and Conk Effect. You could maybe switch out the faster casting for more damage if you wanted to maybe try, I don't know, Combustion. I think I have other stuff. Fire Pen would be great as well. I just didn't want to reroll all the colors to put Fire Pen in. I was running an Arcane Surge in here originally, but I found that it's just better in the Flame Dash because you can keep it up 24/7, which works out a lot better. And my spare slot is a Phase Run. And then over here I have Immortal Call with cast and damage taken, and Stone Golem at level 2 because I need a life regen. You can use this as Chaos Golem, I got recommended, so I may mess around with that at some point as well. Could work out quite well for you. Belt is lots of life with resists. That extra Chaos res helps with the Syndicate, even though I've, for the most part, been avoiding the Syndicate. Haku is a very scary man on low life builds, and just kind of in general sometimes. And that 8% damage craft isn't really that great. I thought it would be better than it was. It's kind of meh. If you have space for resists, you know, life, etc., go for that. And then my boots are my standard God Roll boots I've been using on a couple of... or no, those are on my Ranger, sorry. This is just max life, resists. Unaffected by burning ground is nice. And then the best boot enchant that I've gotten this whole league, or boot craft, sorry, is movement speed and chance to gain onslaught. Basically meaning I don't have to take onslaught nodes, I don't have to try and use onslaught anywhere, I can just get it on kill, which is honestly incredible, because most times I would craft on move speed anyways, so you sack out 16% move speed, because you can go to like 30%, and as a result you get 20% on kill instead, so you're ending up at 36 roughly, or 34, sorry, but you also get 20% attack speed, you know, from onslaught, which is just incredible. So amazing, amazing craft. If you can get it from veiled items, then I would highly recommend doing so. Got it very early in the league, and it's done me very, very well. Now when it comes to flasks, mine aren't optimal. I would use Panicked of bleed removal. I don't have bleed removal. I've burned through at least 150 alts on this freaking flask, and it hasn't gotten me it. Sucks. That's how it goes. So instead I'm using Staunch and Quicksilver. Overflowing Chalice because I was trying to go fast. Phasing Flask, and then Adrenaline. Optimally, what I would use is Adrenaline, Phasing, Granite, probably. Maybe not Granite, I don't know. Basalt even, potentially. And then, I don't know if I would keep this. Maybe, maybe not. And then Panicked of Staunch. So make sure Granite is of Freeze. I have Quartz of Freeze. So that gets the job done. You want Freeze removal, Bleed removal, and then the last slot will be up to you. I've found that Ignite kills me very quickly, Poison kills me very quickly, that sort of stuff. But you can take the Immune to Poison Pantheon and then go for Ignite instead to deal with that sort of situation there. Now that covers most of the gear, as well as I covered all the gem setups, I do believe. This is Herald of Ash with increased area of effect. This is hilarious. Do it yourself, trust me. If you have the int to increase AoE, it is damn funny. You may screen fuck yourself a little bit though, so for those with the feint of PC, be warned. It can do a number on you. And then yeah, I believe I covered everything else. So let me bring up my Pantheons, and I'm currently running Brine King just for stuns. You don't really want to be near anyone, so the rest of them are kind of meh. And then for the smaller one, I was using Rislada for while leveling, just to make my life easier in boss fights. But Tugahama is not a bad one. The Immune to Poison one, as I was talking about before. Honestly, this is just a really good one as well because of the Syndicate members doing chaos damage. So Shikari is actually quite a good one as well. But I'm probably going to try and focus on capturing that Terror at some point. I wish these were global, man. Like, just for whatever reason, they decided to not make Pantheon upgrades global. They're character-based. And that's just more annoying than anything. Because it means I just don't care about doing Pantheons. I would go and 100%, like, for sure, get Immune to Poison if I knew I could use it on every character. But if I can only use it on that character, it really kills my care to do it, you know, especially when I'm re-rolling every other day. But that's how it goes. I think I covered pretty much everything. That's like a fast build guide. I feel like I'm missing something. What am I missing? I covered flasks. I covered gear. I covered skill tree. Am I just this quick? I swear. Who knows? I'm probably gonna kick myself later and go, man, I missed something, but I don't know where. Ascendancy. Almost did. This character hasn't fully filled out her Ascendancy because I'm scared of Zaro with my low health pool. I was trying to get it a lot higher. You know, I wanted to go for 85 and get the extra life I was talking about, so I could be more competent on Zaro. I can kill him quickly, but he can kill me just as fast. So it would be probably a couple of runs. But yeah. Now for the points, I was going to go Shaper of Desolation, Beacon of Ruin, and then Mastermind of Discord, most likely last. The first point, take Pendulum of Destruction, because this elemental damage every 5 seconds, like, it's wild. It's good. It's really insane. And then Area of Effect every 5 seconds. This is nuts too. I kind of want to make a Flame Blast build just based around this, because the AoE would just go wild. It'd be great. But get this one first. Massive damage boost. Very, very recommended. And then afterwards, I was going to go Shaper of Desolation, so I can get like Shock and, you know, extra elements and stuff, which is wonderful. Shock potential, like freezing, chilling, that sort of stuff. Extra CC. And then Beacon of Ruin will make it so elemental ailments caused by your skills spread to other nearby enemies. And you get some nice bonuses as well. Shocks from your hits always increase damage taken, and then chills will reduce action speed by at least 10%, and then damage with Ignite. So basically, considering we have so much like AoE and so many projectiles and stuff, you can just cover everything in your modifiers and stuff from Shaper of Desolation. Everything will just get frozen, that sort of stuff. And you won't have very many issues. You can't really track this. I don't even think it's like a buff. You really can't track it, but still, when it procs, sometimes you can get a clutch freeze every now and then if RNG favors you, and it could save your life. Who knows? But that is the Ascendancy. Mastermind of Discord is kind of the last point. I don't really know what else you could take. I mean, Paragon of Calamity might be okay if you're really worried about Elder Reflect, but if you're not reading maps, you may have a bigger problem there. But Mastermind of Discord is something I would still recommend taking. But that is going to bring us to the end of this build guide. Thank you guys very much for joining me, and I hope you've learned something. I'll be back with gameplay and the walking the path in the coming days. Take care, gentlemen. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. If you enjoyed it, take a look at the 2 pieces of content you're seeing on screen right now. If you wouldn't mind, you can click that big red button and see more updates from me. And if you want to go even further than that, then you can take a look in the description to find my new Patreon link. You boys gotta keep the lights on somehow.